Hello, YouTube world. It has been forever since I've done a video. I was thinking before that I haven't actually done a video since before we found out about our first failed IVF attempt. And I promised to send or post a video soon about what's been going on since then. However, and that was about 4 weeks ago that we had that result. So I'm on day 27, cycle day 27, after my first IVF attempt. And obviously we've been trying to conceive about, 24, 25 cycles now. So no new news. I'm not pregnant, although cycle day 27, I'm on average day 29. I have no spotting. I have no symptoms of either pregnancy or my period coming. So who knows? As per usual, my hopes are through the roof about maybe that we'll get our miracle baby this month, but I'll definitely let you know. But in breaking news, I've had this ripper of an idea, and I want to get your thoughts on it. So when you do IVF, right, you take, at the first half of your cycle, you take this Gonal-F injections, which is a follicular stimulating hormone. And the idea, now this is just my understanding, right? Because I'm not a professional at this. I have had one IVF cycle. So this is just through my own learning. Please correct me if I'm wrong, drop a comment or what have you. But this you take in the first, couple of weeks or first 10 days of your IVF cycle. And the idea is that it has your ovaries produce as many follicles as possible, and then within those follicles house the eggs, and hopefully the eggs mature and they can remove them and create embryos with the sperm, right? So you take this to produce more follicles with the hope of then producing more eggs and so forth. Well, as you know, I had a pretty poor result in our very first IVF cycle. Very disheartening. I had actually really low response to the drugs. They increased my dosage to maximum. And even then, I got 7 eggs upon retrieval, and only 1 embryo came from those 7 eggs, and it's a very low-grade embryo because of the quality of my eggs. Anyhow, I had this brainstorm of an idea. What would happen if I was to take this in a natural cycle? So what if I was to promote more follicles to develop early in my cycle and then have timed bedroom activity? What would happen? Would that not increase my chances of falling pregnant naturally? I guess that the fear would be the fear of multiples, because they say that's high risk or what have you. But I mean, let's face it, we've been told that our chances are minimal, that there's potentially no hope of us getting another baby. So what are the chances of getting multiples if that's how low they are? And I think that there's also a chance of hyperstimulation. And this is, again, just based on my Googling. I have no medical background, right? Now, that hyperstimulation, I think, is where your ovaries can produce too many follicles, and then you end up with like fluid and I think it's pretty serious. However, if I just administered a small dose, because I have a whole pile of this left over from my IVF cycle, and obviously I know that if I was to ask a doctor, I believe you can't take this drug outside of IVF. And I'm not just going to jump in and do it. That would be dumb. But I think it's a really cool idea. And when you're at the bottom of the barrel and you're kind of running out of options, you've got to ask questions. You've got to ask outside the box questions. And I want to know if anybody out there who's watching this has done anything like this before, where they have taken a drug that hasn't been prescribed, or has actually done what I'm thinking of doing. And if not, why not? Like, if you've got some sort of medical background and you think it's a really bad idea, or there is too many risks associated, or, why it wouldn't be a great idea, hit me up. I want to know about it. I'm actually going to speak to one of my pharmacist friends tomorrow who has quite a fertility education. He has been, him and his partner have been through fertility for through IVF several cycles and is quite knowledgeable. And I thought, well, I don't know if he can advise me professionally. I don't know where he stands liability wise, but I asked the question, and I'm certainly going to explore the option more, because if I'm not a fan of the injections. Let's face it, I'm really not a fan of them. But if I could get away with taking some of this at the beginning of my cycle, increase my follicles, potentially increasing my eggs, and then we have intercourse, and the chances of multiple eggs fertilizing, because they're such low quality at the moment, is slim. But maybe one might just sneak through. Like, I might be able to produce, instead of just one egg, maybe I could encourage a couple of eggs, and then naturally, who knows? And I really look forward to your response. Thanks for listening to my craziness, and I will talk soon. If you want to see more vids and track our secondary infertility journey, potentially our next IVF round, hit the subscribe button and the notifications, and please do get in touch. Mwah!